This is Molé Mama. Take a journey with me to my kitchen where I recreate some of my sweet Mama Rosa's best Mexican family recipes. I'll share the stories behind my grandma's magical molcajete, guacamole, crunchy tacos, mole, papas and chorizo chimichangas, Kahlua cake, crack cake, and oh so much more. You'll also get to meet guest chefs as they share the stories behind their yummy recipes. I believe that food is the sixth language of love. And if you're like me, it's your love that makes your food magical. Tune into Molé Mama on Thursdays at 6 p.m. for all the fun and love. You might want to eat first, because this show is going to make you oh so hungry. Que Dios te bendiga, as my mom would say. May God bless you. Hola, and welcome to Molé Mama, Cooking with Love. We drive connection, unity, acceptance, and love across all cultures and generations. So we want to be very clear that all are welcome here, and we're delighted that you're listening. And from Mother Teresa, spread love everywhere you go, and let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. And given who tonight's special guest is, you're going to be leaving hungrier. So tonight, we have a very sweet person with us, and so you might want to grab those treats now to have them handy, because you're going to be hungry while you're listening to us. So once again, welcome to Molé Mama Cooking with Love. We celebrate home chefs, entrepreneurs, side hustlers, and foodies like my sweet Mama Rose and my Tia Hoovy. We talk about heritage, family recipes, traditional tools like my Grandma Magdalena's magical molcajete. And I remind you every week that the secret ingredient to every great recipe is our love. I want to welcome our returning listeners. I see Carmen and Liliana and Renee and Elizabeth and so many others in the chat room. Thank you so much for tuning in live. And I want to welcome our new listeners. If this is your first time joining us, so great to have you here. And please check out our Molé Mama recipes on YouTube. We have guacamole, crunchy tacos, enchiladas, Spanish rice, mole rojo, chimichangas, and so much more. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook. I'd love to help you make those recipes successful. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a very special guest. I have Maria Gomez from MKR Creations. And she makes edible favors and stationery. And oh my goodness, you guys, you need to just pull up her Instagram feed now and just take a deep breath, because you're going to bite of something. So with that, welcome, Maria. Hola.
Hi, thank you. Hola. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. So before we get started, is there anybody that you want to say hi to?
My family, if they're listening, and my followers and customers. I'm very excited for having the opportunity to chit chat.
That's fantastic. So we're delighted to have you. And like I said, oh my gosh, your Instagram feed. I'm like, really? So, and I'm trying to learn more about how you became this talented, amazing baker. So what's your first memory in the kitchen? Did you start cooking when you were young with family, or how did that happen?
I actually came from a big family from both sides of my parents, and both of my parents loved to cook. So being in the kitchen, I clearly remember since I was a little girl, and especially at Grandma's house. And what I like to remember as a very young age, I would just pull a chair while Grandma was cooking her refried beans. And then after, I would like to help her actually wash the big pots. And as of now, it's just something like, to me, natural to be in the kitchen. And actually, I'm trying to pick up and learn a few of the recipes for my mom and my dad and Grandma.
Okay, so I that's amazing that you wanted to wash the dishes. Like, that's my least favorite thing to do on the planet. So we need to cook together. So I hope you still like to do that.
I do. I don't know why. It's one thing, especially now that after the edibles, mixing so many different, chocolates, and actually it's a little soothing, therapeutical. It just helps me. Still to this day, I know it's very strange, but it's fun.
That is fantastic. Okay, so I need to try to get into a Zen place, I guess, when I'm doing my dishes, is what it sounds like. Okay. What a lovely memory, though, that both parents and your grandmother. That's fantastic. So then, did they bake as well, or was it primarily cooking?
Actually, it's been cooking, but normally my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she actually, after dinner, what I could remember was there always had to be dessert on the table. So there had to be something sweet so we could have after dinner. So it's just something that I guess I picked up, and I try to do the same. And especially I started adding it ever since my boys were small. Their first birthday party had to be pretty big, like most, Hispanic families, that the first birthday party has to go all out and to celebrate. We would, my dad would help cook, and I just started picking up, just liking to make desserts. And that's how I actually started, with making just desserts for my kids. And then suddenly the family just started asking that who made them, and I started making for the family, and just word by mouth. And that's how actually started 10 years ago.
Oh my goodness. So you basically taught yourself then how to bake?
Yes. I am with edible chocolates. All the edible favors that I do, I started on my own. I just started learning by myself, and then I met a girlfriend of mine through a mutual friend. Her name's Veronica, Ronnie Sugar Creations. I met her through the way, and we just had so much in common. Then that's when I decided to start MKR Creations with my sisters. And so little by little, I've been learning through other mutual friends as well that they like to do the same, to create edibles. So it's been interesting, very therapeutical, and as it started as a hobby more than anything.
And it sounded like it started as something to do for your children, which is beautiful. So
yes,
fantastic. Okay, so you've taught yourself. Do you watch YouTube videos, or you just cook with friends, or how do you come up with your recipes or your creations? It's because your Instagram feed, everything is so beautiful.
It took time. You should see the first. It's like anything else. You need practice. Because if I would show you the first edibles we created, they weren't so beautiful. Like, thank goodness they were just for my children and for us to enjoy. So, and actually, I started with my sisters. It was me and my two sisters. That's what that's our initials, MKR Creations, for Maria, Christina, and Roxana. But now I actually continued on my own because my sisters, they just started having kids, and they don't have the time now that I have, now that my boys are older. So I still continue as a hobby.
That's amazing. Okay, so that's where the name comes from, because I was curious about that. And then, so how do people buy your edibles? Can they order things on Instagram? Do you ship yet?
I don't ship yet. To me, it's a little risky. I pretty much just take orders for local area here in San Diego. It's so much easier in a way that I started it's more like a hobby, but I do take orders through Instagram. That's where most of my my orders come from my followers, and Instagram and Facebook as well, and just by word of mouth, family and friends. Some of them go to a birthday party and they see the treats and they taste them, they like them, and then they ask for the information. So that's how I go about.
So how do you come up with the ideas? So I've seen the unicorn ones, and then I've seen the soccer ones, and so do your customers ask you for these things, or do you have a book that you show them?
What I actually always ask my customers mainly if they have a theme and colors in mind. After they let me know that information, I would ask as well if there's any pictures or anything in specific that they would like. And that's how I actually get some ideas. And there's times where customers, most of the times, are very specific at what they want. So I go ahead and create what they send me. And there's times where I like to get inspired, and a lot of I use Pinterest as well a lot to get some ideas. And from there I make a few changes or colors as well. If it all depends where the customers would like. If they do allow me to make the change and for me to get inspired by seeing other creations.
So I'm telling you, these things are very, very pretty. So did you draw when you were young? Did you play with Play-Doh? How did this happen? Because I can't draw at all. So I'm like, I can't even imagine if someone's because I know getting there for bad, but I'm like, okay, but they are so not bad now. How's that?
Well, actually, the stationery, all the labels, I create myself, and I taught myself as well. I have a full-time job during the day as office manager, and I taught myself how to use Word and Excel on my slow time. And I just started just creating and picking pictures, and then then I would order through Etsy certain clip arts if I couldn't find them online, and just actually customize them and add like the birthday boy's name or the birthday girl's name and all their information to make it more personal. And for some reason, it actually does make a difference. Since it's personalized, it has some information of the birthday boy or birthday girl. It makes it extra special.
Oh, they're so cute. My kids are older now too, but I'm like, I would have loved to have done that for one of their birthdays.
Yeah. So now I wish I would have been more creative when they were younger, but I've learned throughout the years. So now I have the opportunity to go all out with my nieces and nephews' birthday party, if I can, of course.
Okay, so this is your side hustle, like Molé Mama's my side hustle. So I understand. You work all day and then you get to night. So
yes, creating edibles is my my night side gig.
That's fantastic. So do you bake everything all by yourself then as well?
The only thing I pretty much do, anything to do with chocolate, I actually bake it, but which is very rare, whenever I do a whole setup, I try not to. I like to work with others as well, other bakers, other friends in the industry. It's a less stressful, and it just motivates me. It makes me feel good being able to work, like order from other friends. I just feel that I do a better job doing the whole setup and concentrate and come up with more ideas on the chocolate. And then I'll order, for example, cookies from another baker, another friend, or cupcakes and the cake. So when you work, I feel that when you work with others, I don't know, it just comes out so much better, and you're able to interact with other people that have the same interests as you.
I think that's fantastic. I saw a couple of pictures on Instagram. So is one of them Daniela's kitchen? Because I've had her.
Yes.
And I've eaten her cupcakes.
Yes.
Gosh, they're
they're to die for.
They're to die for. I've told so many people they're the best cupcakes I've ever tasted in my life. They're so.
Yes. Yeah, Chamango Loco is my favorite, and the elote cupcake. I don't know, they're so good. But yes, I love to work with her, especially all the local girls. Alicia Delicias as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, 'cause that's where we got your name, I think, was from Alicia Delicias. So, yeah, so.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I actually got to meet her at a meetup, and she's so sweet. Yeah, I actually thanked her for giving me a shout out.
That's outstanding. That I love that you guys are working together and helping each other out. That's just, I think it's a whole new way of doing business, and I love it. I think it's really great. I think there's always room for everyone. So
exactly,
outstanding.
I feel the same way.
Well, I know that I love on your Instagram feed all the edibles that you're doing and stationery, but you also post a lot of really inspirational things. So I was like, oh, there was something about the rain. Like when it rains, put on your fancy boots and dance in the puddles or something like that. And I'm like, oh, yes. I needed to read that. Where does that come from? Where does that side?
There's times where I might be having a tough day, and I just troll, I guess, Pinterest. I'm really a big Pinterest fan. So I just go under Pinterest and just go through motivational quotes. And believe it or not, it does, for me, it makes a difference. It could change my day or even my morning. Let's say I have a lot of work at my full-time job, and then I have orders to do in the evening, and I start feeling overwhelmed. I just start looking for motivational quotes, and for some reason it helps to make it better and actually organize myself and motivate me that I could do it. And so I won't go, I guess, so I won't get all stressed out. And of course with the prayer. Yeah. It always gets me through.
That's terrific. Well, I've appreciated what you've reposted, so I'm like, that's great. Just keep doing that for us. There's more than just you that needs those little pick-me-ups every now and then. So that's fantastic.
Oh, well, I'm glad. Thanks.
So I'm assuming that you're a big chocolate lover if your focus is really on chocolate. Is that something that, are you a big chocolate lover?
I was, and I still am, but I don't need it as much as I used to.
Really?
Because now, yes, but because I do all these chocolates edible more often, that I don't eat them as much, but I enjoy making them, and it's once in a while I have a bite of it. I'm like, oh, it's pretty good. I still have that, chocolate taste that I enjoy.
Okay. I don't know what to say about that because I really, really love chocolate, and I hope that never changes because it brings me so much joy. So like, wait, that must sound like Maria said you can get tired of it. So, what's the most unusual thing that you've ever made for somebody, or that they've asked, or that you've come up with? I saw your unicorn stuff. I think it's so cute, but
it was a big trend, and I think it still is. It's a very, very popular trend, and I think the one that the most unique that I've done is a baby dragon.
Oh.
And I got to do invitations and all the stationery and a few edibles, and for a while it was a big hit. And I guess being unique and something out of the box, after showing it, it was very, very popular after. But at the beginning, trying to design it and put it together, it was a little overwhelming, but very, very fun at the same time.
A baby dragon. Okay. So was it spitting fire out of it? I got to go on your Instagram and try and find pictures of this because now I'm like dying to know what that looked like. It was all done. How fun. Absolutely fun. Now, we did see on your Facebook that you used to do event planning. Are you still doing event planning as well, or is that was part of this, how this all got started?
I do event planning, not as much now. I try to concentrate more on the edible side, but whenever there is an event and I could get my sisters to help, I'm actually able to do the event planning and the edibles. I like to enjoy it while I'm putting everything together. So by myself, it's a little too. It could be too overwhelming. So as long as I could get my sisters to come back at least and help me to set up, it always works out. We actually got to do an event, a full event, a few weeks ago. A very unique theme that it was for the theme was Baja Score 1000. It's a big race down in Mexico, and there is actually nothing that you could find for a birthday party with that theme. So it was very overwhelming, but fun. I was really, really excited because my husband, my kids, and my brother-in-law, they're all into that actually race. I don't know if you guys have heard it before. I have pictures on Instagram and Facebook about it. It actually turned out well, and thanks to my sisters that came to the rescue and helped out, we were able to have a successful event.
That's kind of exciting that you got to do that down in Mexico. So you do events too. So I think you're pretty modest about all the things you're able to do in your side hustle. So tell me this. What's your favorite thing that you like to make? So you're doing the edibles, and then you're also doing the stationery. Do you prefer one over the other? And do you do one flavor of chocolate, or do you different types of chocolate?
I actually like to enjoy. Actually, I like both. I just wish that I like doing the stationery, but I'm not too computer savvy. I really don't. Now with all these new programs, it's become a little bit hard for me to actually do the stationery. And my brother and my sister have been trying to teach me and tell me what, softwares to use, but I'm so used to like the old softwares, like Microsoft, that it's so hard to try something new, and I got to get better at that. But I would say that it has to be the edibles more than the stationery because of that problem with the softwares. But chocolate, mainly, I like to use very colorful chocolate. And it's the same flavor, just colorful instead of just basic white or brown. And I don't know, it makes like the edibles look more alive. It gives it a different look. And it actually stands out when I get to use bright colors.
So have you ever had any of your edibles melt or anything, mishaps when you're making them?
Of course. Yes.
And have to start over?
It has, yes. Or it's I've had it hasn't been perfect. There's been a few, mistakes or what I've learned. Believe it or not, for example, the room temperature has to be at a certain temperature in order for you to be able to work with chocolate. If you leave it in the microwave too long, it could actually burn and it won't work anymore. So I've had a lot of mistakes, but I've learned from them. And they've actually, learning from them, I've been able to actually fix them and for the future.
Right.
And but I've had to order one specific order that I actually had to run back home and redo them because they melted just from one, for example, from my home to my work where they were going to pick up the order. I had to run back home and do it again.
That's really stressful. I remember I was doing an event at my day job, and I was bringing in food, and I made this big, I made so much Spanish rice. I used like rice, and I was moving the pot off the stove, and it's like 10:30 at night, and I dropped it.
I feel your pain. Yes.
Yes, you feel my pain. I had rice everywhere. It was like on the walls of my kitchen. I believe I started crying. My sons were younger, and they were like, "Right, make you more rice." Started. So yeah. Okay. I just wanted to know if I was the only one who had these things happen. But you're like, are you kidding me? No.
Oh.
But having your order melt is pretty bad.
Yes, definitely. But with communication, I contacted the customer. I explained it. I was honest about it, and there was no problem. And she totally understood, and so it worked out. And I'm thankful for that.
That's great, because I wondered, because I know it's warmer. I'm near San Francisco, and I know it's much warmer down there. So it's like chocolate melts. So I'm like, oh, go away. All right. So now tell me this. So you're running your own business. So what have been some of the challenges of running your own business that you've encountered?
I would have to say, if, for example, I was very, very shy, and being shy, I wasn't selling, or I wasn't being where I wanted to be. So actually, I've had to try to forget that shyness and actually open up a little more and meet other people and be more social through social media. That's helped me quite a bit. because before it actually was not helping at all. Like anything else, there's some slow times, but then there's some busy times. Normally during the summer, it's pretty slow, but you just have to pretty much hustle and show your work out there and actually be more involved with others that are doing the same thing. So it's been a little challenging and very nervous, but it's been good overall.
But thank you for sharing that, because I think that's really great for our listeners or anybody thinking about doing a business, that maybe if you are shyer or not as outgoing as others, that you can figure it out. So that's pretty amazing that you figured that out. So that's great.
Yes.
Because I think it's got to be a tough thing, because it sounds like that's part of your personality. So.
Yeah. And what helped out too was actually taking a few classes and meeting other people that have the same interest. And that actually helped me realize that being shy wasn't gonna help me out in my business.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that I think for me, that's also very, very true. It's really helpful to find other people that are kind of going through the struggle and the joys, but kind of doing it at the same time. Because you can learn so much from them, and they can relate to you. I know that's been true for me. That's been super, super helpful. So what are some of the rewards of doing this business that you've been doing for a while now?
To me, it gives me time to myself. The reward is, for me, like I call it, it's my me time. So it's my sanity time, which many probably won't quite understand, but it's my quiet time. So after I come back from work and cook dinner and take care of the boys, it's time for myself. And it's for some reason, it just helps me to start my next day more relaxed. And
so it sounds like that's your passion, maybe? So did it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I know that for me, I'm in a better mental space when I write or when I cook. So if I'm cooking, really relaxes me. I know that I've had some stressful things happen, and I oftentimes will just cook. That's how I deal with things. And the same thing if I write every day, if I write a little bit, whether that's journaling or I'm working on a blog post or something, I'm in a better place. It's just, it clears my head. So I think it's important for all our listeners to get that message that whatever that me time is, I think it's important for us to make space in our lives to do that, because it does make us better. So it does.
Yeah, and I think overall it makes us better as a mom, a partner, just all around. Yeah.
My husband says, what is it? Happy wife, happy life. So yes. Yeah. It's very true. Absolutely. So I know that some of our listeners might be, thinking about their own business. Think about 10 years ago, and this was starting to get going for you. What kind of advice would you give somebody that was thinking about starting a side hustle?
I think they definitely should not be scared and go for it. Whatever they decide that they want to do, it's all baby steps. It might be difficult or slow at the beginning, but I would have to say it's not giving up, because it's something that you're doing for yourself, and no one else. Everything takes time until it picks up. What helped me was collaborating with other bakers, going to actually conferences. There's actually like cake shows. I wish that they would bring back, for example, Cake Pop Con. 2 years ago that we got to go. Girls from the West Coast met girls from the East Coast, and all that helps, and it gets you through not to give up, to keep going. And I can't believe it. I mean, it's been 10 years ago, and I'm glad that I'm still going, and it's worked out.
That's just outstanding. So could you again tell our listeners how they can follow you? If you could give them your Instagram account name and other contact information, please.
Yes, my Instagram and Facebook page is MKR Creations, and my email, mkrcreations@hotmail.com.
Thank you. And like I said earlier, just be prepared, because you're going to be like, oh no, I want chocolate. Oh no, I want this. Oh no. And I love what you said about, just keep going and to be patient, because I think that's one of the hardest things for me, is to just be patient. It takes time. It definitely takes time to build your business, and it is so helpful. I absolutely agree, to find those other people that are similar to you or experiencing a similar journey, to help encourage each other and learn from each other. So I have to ask you, so when it's your birthday, like, what kind of cake do you get for yourself, or do you want, since you're baking all the time?
Actually, to be honest with you, I don't. I rather not do anything. I rather just go out to dinner and just have, a quiet time and time to enjoy the family. And actually, for my 40th birthday, my family, my sister, my best friend, and they surprised me with a surprise birthday party. And when it came down to the dessert table, they were like, oh my God, what are we going to do? What desserts are we going to put? Because she's the one that makes them.
So what did they do?
It came out gorgeous. They did a beautiful job, and everything was store-bought or ordered from other bakers. The cake that we absolutely love is from Mariela from Sweet Revenge. So she did the cake, and they ordered from different places. So it turned out nice, but they were actually very concerned. What was I going to think about all the desserts?
Yes, I have the same thing happens to me about food, is that sometimes we do get invited over, and I've had people tell me, I can't cook for you. It's too hard. It's like, no, really, I'm happy. I'm happy to try your food. Really, I cook all the time. And so very similar. It's like, oh no, but Yeah. But I was just curious. And now, do you cook as well? Because it sounds like you grew up cooking with your parents and your grandma. So do you still do quite a bit of the cooking in addition to the baking? And if you do cook, what do you like to make?
I do. I actually like to cook, and can't cook as well as my parents. Well, like my father, he loves to make carnitas. He makes the best carnitas and birria. My mom as well. She does delicious meals. But one meal that I don't really like to cook that my mom taught me was to make lasagna. It's such a I guess having coming from a big family and having big family come over. And I'm saying big, it's, for example, my mom has 7 brothers and sisters and my dad as well. So, and, so we're always used to cooking big meals, big quantities. So lasagna to me, it's an easy recipe to make, and it feeds quite a bit of people. So to this day, it's one of the favorite dishes that I like to make, and Enchiladas Verdes. That's another good meal that I like to cook.
So Enchiladas Verdes, does that have a tomatillo sauce or is it a green chili sauce?
It has, it's a tomatillo salsa.
Okay.
That my parents showed me how to make. So we do it's just chicken enchiladas, and then the salsa verde, tomatillo on top, and of course with the red rice.
Okay, we need to talk more about that. That sounds yummy. So I don't think I've ever had those.
Absolutely.
But oh my gosh, I love carnitas. I'm actually going to post. I have a blog post that's going live tomorrow on carnitas with my mom's carnita recipe. Yeah.
Oh, I have to check it out.
Yeah, I love carnitas. It's one of absolutely my favorite dishes. And I make them. And I think what's really interesting is that I have a lot of Latino family here in the area, and I have a lot of non-Latino friends. And I've had so many people that have eaten carnitas and are like, this can't be pork. I don't eat pork. I don't like pork. I'm like, it's pork. Get over it. It's pork. So it's like, it's too good. I'm like, this is pork. Let me introduce you to pork at a Latino's house. It's one of our staples. So
it's very tasty and not dry.
Oh, it's so tasty.
It's a nice meal.
A little taco with some cilantro and onions. Okay, clearly I have not had dinner yet, so I'm making myself.
I know.
So I'm assuming, does the holiday time get pretty busy for you then? Is that when it gets?
It does. I try and mainly customize a specific holiday like theme, and from there I go and just place orders with that specific theme, and it works pretty well. Well, I'm already started thinking of Halloween and Christmas coming up.
Yeah, I can't wait for Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. We get a lot of trick-or-treaters, so I love it. So
I would have to agree, yes.
Yeah, and I've started this thing. I don't know, we've been doing it at my house for many years, but we have a big party at my house on Halloween night, and I make enchiladas and a whole bunch of other food, and then we get like between 250 and 300 kids at our house. It's so fun.
Oh, how exciting. I know, I'm thinking about actually Dia de los Muertos. This past year has been, it was difficult for us, and we started doing the altar for Dia de los Muertos. So maybe a little gathering or for Halloween as well. That would be neat.
That's really nice. Okay, so I know that we've had a lot of comments in our chat room, and people have started following you as they've been listening and commenting on how beautiful your edibles are and wishing you good luck. So it has been really delightful to have you on the show with us, Maria. So it's just been a joy to talk to you, and I'm so delighted that we got connected and that you got to talk to all of us. So
thank you very much.
And thank you. I want to thank our listeners for tuning in. Many thanks to our amazing producer, Ade. Remember to add the most important ingredient to every recipe you make, your love. And as my mama always said to me as we said our goodbyes, que Dios te bendiga. May God bless you. Soul to Soul with the wonderful Nancy Newman is up next, so please stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in to Molé Mama Cooking with Love, and have a wonderful evening and a great weekend.
Thank you for tuning in to Molé Mama. Remember to add love to every recipe you make. It is your secret ingredient. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and check out our YouTube channel and make those yummy recipes for your loved ones and connect and have fun and enjoy. Que Dios te bendiga. May God bless you.